Accra to the world we bring the fresh stories, fresh energy every morning, full of fire and glory. Rise and shine, come join the line. Your day begins when the voices align. GhanaTalks breakfast show. GhanaTalks breakfast show. Your daily dose, here we go. GhanaTalks breakfast show.
This is GhanaTalks breakfast show, your morning companion. This is GhanaTalks breakfast show, your morning companion.
Turn it up and stay tuned for the talk that moves you and keeps your heart in tune. From the traffic to the trends, we got something for your day. Every voice, every vision, lighting up the way. Rise and shine.
Good morning to you, Ghana. Good morning to you, lovely listeners of GhanaTalks Radio. This is the GhanaTalks breakfast show, your morning companion right here on GhanaTalks Radio. This is your favorite online radio station, the only online radio station you can carry along wherever you go. All you need to do is just go to Google Play Store or Apple Store and download the app, and you are good to go. You don't need to, tune into a different channel when you travel to a different constituency or a different district. It's the same GhanaTalks Radio, and this is the morning show. Remember that you're streaming live on Facebook at GhanaTalks Radio, on YouTube at GhanaTalks Radio, and also on X at GhanaTalks Radio. Do well to log on, send in your comments. Let's get interactive right here on the show. This is the first segment of the morning show, and this is the news review. And right here we bring you all the relevant stories making waves in the news, from business to politics, from sports to entertainment. We got you covered with the most relevant stories and informed perspectives on matters that matter to you every morning right here on the show. My name is Ruth Esenam Fiagbedu, and this morning I'll be serving you breakfast with Miss Regina Bless and Miss Debbie Adoso. Good morning to you, ladies. How are we doing? Hope all is well.
Hi,
Good morning. We thank God. Thank God it's Friday. It's a day everyone has been waiting for. If you're a 9-to-5 worker, you know that this is a day that the Lord has made, and you will sleep and rejoice in heavens. Yes. So this morning, let's get straight into the issues and the news items slated. Majority Defense closed-door BOG meeting says central bank must remain independent. I believe you have already heard about the Buhari pertaining this whole Bank of Ghana issue with the majority and minority as well. Let's get into the details. The chairman of Parliament's Economy and Development Committee, Eric Afo, says the Bank of Ghana must remain independent even as it continues to be accountable to Parliament and the Ghanaian public. His comments come after the minority staged a walkout in Parliament during the appearance of BOG Governor Dr. Johnson Isiama, raising concerns about the way engagement was conducted and calling for greater transparency. Mr. Afo rejected claims that the majority was trying to shield the central bank from public scrutiny. He explained that although Parliament has the power to question ministers and heads of state institutions, the Bank of Ghana is a constitutionally independent institution and should not be treated like a government ministry. According to him, while the government is a stakeholder, it does not directly control the operations of the central bank. Mr. Afo stressed that Parliament can still hold the Bank of Ghana accountable, but any oversight must respect the bank's legal independency. The issue has reignited debate over how Parliament should supervise the central bank, with the majority insisting that its independency must be protected, while the minority argues that the bank must face stronger public scrutiny over its financial and policy decisions. And one may ask, what is the whole genesis of all these Bank of Ghana issue? It's hard. All what the minority is asking for is transparency as to certain questions and why certain things have gone up. That is all what the minority is asking for. But the majority was like, Bank of Ghana is an independent body. So due to that, they placed before the Speaker of Parliament, Mr. Bernard Ahiafo, that they wanted a whole cabinet. That means that it's going to exclude the media. And the minority said, no way, it's not going to exclude the media. The media has to be here whilst the Bank of Ghana give us the briefing. And due to that, they did not accept it, so they had to stage a walkout. So that is it. Miss Debbie, I believe you've gotten into this story. What's your thoughts on this? Was it necessary for the minorities to stage a walkout? Was that walkout actually necessary?
On my part, it is not necessary. It is not necessary because Order 266 states that independent public institutions are not supposed to go public on their briefings unless the committee have decided that they are supposed to go public in Parliament. So if you look at all these independent institutions like the Bank of Ghana, among others, when they are about to brief the Parliament on an important issues, the committee meets with the relevant authorities in Parliament indoors, in camera. It is not done on air for everybody to see. It is after they are done, then you see the lead members in that committee coming out to speak to the media. So if you listen to the majority briefing to the media, you even hear the majority leader asking the media, have you ever seen that these independent institutions have ever gone live with the media there? And they said no. So it is after they are done, then the lead in this communities grant interview for this media, for them to know what is going on. So the majority leader clearly stated that if this is what the minority want, this is what they are supposed to do. They're supposed to meet them back doors and explain things. So if you listen to what went on or watch what went on in Parliament, the majority leader clearly stated that if that is what you want, you should have sat with us and explain, convince us enough to know why you want the Bank of Ghana to go on live or to go public for everybody to see.
Exactly.
So if you're putting this across, then you give vivid reason why you want the governor of the Bank of Ghana to come on live. Or off, is it off
on camera?
Thank you, on camera for everybody to see. But if you don't give vivid evidence and you walk out and then you are claiming that because you want transparency and then you want the governor of the Bank of Ghana to be accountable, it doesn't make sense. This is the order of Parliament. If you go to Parliament, there are procedures. You need to follow it. You don't just stand up because you want to make headline. It doesn't make sense. So at first, you see, if you don't read more into the standing orders of Parliament and the rules governing the execution of their mandates or the rules that goes on in Parliament, you might think that the minority is right. Sincerely speaking, you might think that the minority is right because, why should the Bank of Ghana, the governor of the Bank of Ghana, not come to Parliament and then say, just like the way we have the Minister of Agriculture, when he wants to brief Parliament, he comes on board and he say whatever he wants to say, and then the minority will have a question for him, the majority will have a question for him. The same for Minister of Gender, the same for other ministries. But why is it that when it comes to, even for the Finance Minister, but why is it that when you get to the turn of the governor of the Bank of Ghana, you are telling us that this is supposed to be in camera, and you're making it look as if the first deputy Speaker of Parliament doesn't know his work? It is bad. It is bad. These are the rules. If you don't know the rules and the laws, as I said, you might think that the minority is right, but for me, they are not right. That is why I carefully pay attention to what they said, and I went back to read the Order 266, and it clearly states that unless the committee themselves grant you that request, that okay, fine, we are coming to put across whatever we want to convey on camera. And even see, it was then I realized that even before the governor of the Bank of Ghana comes to Parliament to brief us, the question that needs to be asked, they were already answered. So when you listen to the minority, they even said that the questions were answered. So it should tell that the questions, whatever you ask or you've purported to ask, it has already been answered on the sheet, and that has been given out. So when you listen to the majority speak, it is not as if the minority does not know these rules. They know it, but I don't know whether it is intentional or whether they want to make headline or whether it's a propaganda. So for me, I'm speaking based on what the order is saying, and the order is saying that independent institutions are not supposed to go on camera. They're supposed to do it behind. They can only come on camera, that is if they've agreed, and that is if whoever wants them to come on camera gives out a vivid reason as to why they're supposed to go on live for everybody to see, then so be it. But if not, the noise they are making is empty barrels making a.
So if that is the order, at what point does the public actually know the briefing that went on in Parliament with the exclusion of the media?
After they are done.
But would it be after they are done and is going to be being published by the media after they've granted interview with the Bank of Ghana or with those that were present in the meeting?
So I think for that, I didn't really read into that, but let me share my
2 cents.
So personally, sorry,
take your time.
I see it to be they only grants the media the right to the info that was discussed after they are done
with the briefing.
After they are done with the briefing, and so sometimes there are cases where the media only get to hear that this ministry is having a talk based on this, then they give the theme of it, but you don't get to hear it. It's after they are done, then you get to hear what is going on. They even give us the set date and the time, but whatever goes on, you don't get to hear it after they are done. So you only get to speak to maybe the chair of that committee, or you get to speak to the vice chair of that committee or the secretary of that committee. Then they brief you on whatever went on. Sometimes they even go as far as giving you the script, the whole script. They give it to you. Or we have Business and Financial Times. It belongs to the bank, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes most of this information is being published by the bank. So if you want a detailed info on what went on, you go directly to the website of this banks, and then it's clearly there. Details of whatever it is being discussed during that meeting is being made public, and so you get the info from there. So you see, if I didn't hear it, I would have said that it is very wrong that Omama Media, but they asked the media, do you get the chance to
sit in such meetings?
They said no. Is it not after they said yes? I was like, okay, this one is from the own horse's mouth. I'm not the one saying that. So they get the info right after they are done.
So the minority is asking for accountability and transparency on behalf of the media, if I'm getting them right.
That is what they are saying.
Yeah, because they at this point they are asking themselves questions as to why the majority is excluding the media from the meeting. But you could also tell, just as Miss Debbie has given us the insight on that, it is not required for the media to be in that particular meeting. If the minority is going to be in that meeting and you are going to, listen to it, you are going to gain insight on why so and so had to happen, why this money has to go to this side. My question is, then why is the minority worried? Why is the minority worried? Ms. Regina, do you think that it's high time that Parliament set aside a sanction to any committee or to any part of Parliament? It could be the majority or the minority. There should be a sanction for any person that walks out from an important briefing or engagement, because it's becoming unbecoming.
Okay. So I think this is, should I say, long overdue, in the sense that looking at these parliamentarians, it looks like most of them want to do what they want by themselves. They want to take decisions on their own. I get it that when it comes to the minority, they have a leader, that is Alexander, and what the leader does is what some of these subordinates would follow. So as you are saying, I think there should be a sanction. I would say at the end of the day, a punishment should be given out to anyone who walks out of parliament, because when it comes to such important issues, everyone needs to be present, everyone needs to contribute a quota to whatever that is going on there. And mind you, you are not there by your own power. People elected you, people entrusted that power into your hands. So you don't just wake up one day and decide to just get up because whatever that is going on is not in your favor. That is why you are the minority. Minority means enye bibia no obeka omube omefa anaso mbeti, because you are the minority, in as much as they need to listen to everyone. But minority means internal, most of the times if they are voting, they say majority carries the votes, and that is it. So the minority needs to start getting accustomed to this fact, and excuse me to say, stop behaving childish. They know particularly what that in such meetings like this, it should not be held public. It is after that a little bit of the briefing is being given out for everyone to know what really transpired. But excuse me to say, they are acting as if
They don't know the rules. They're acting as if they don't know the rules, because they know the rules, and even the media even knows the rules. So how much more you being a member of parliament, a parliamentarian in parliament, and then you are doing this?
I feel like their problem is to politicize everything,
Propaganda.
and is to and to find every little fault in anything just to escalate it. You see, very soon they'll do press conference.
They actually did.
They've done it.
Yes, they did. And then right after that, the majority also came out to defend as to why they had to exclude the media.
Nice.
So majority and minority there. If you know the rules, then why do you have to go contrary to that? Let's move into the next news item. Ken Ashigbe warns Galamsey fight will fail without end to political interference. The convener of the Media Coalition Against Illegal Mining, Dr. Ken Ashigbe, says Ghana's fight against illegal mining, popularly known as Galamsey, will not succeed unless political interference is brought to an end. According to him, both previous and current governments have failed to show the political will needed to deal with people involved in illegal mining, especially those with political connections. Dr. Ashigbe said the problem is not whether those involved are linked to the NPP or to the NDC, but the fact that politically connected individuals are often protected instead of being prosecuted. He warned that as long as political interests continue to influence law enforcement, illegal mining will remain a major threat to Ghana's forests, rivers, and other natural resources. The anti-Galamsey campaigner called on government to enforce the law fairly and without favor, regardless of the political affiliation of those involved. He also urged Ghanaians to reject misinformation and support efforts by the media, civil society organizations, and environmental groups working to keep attention on the issue. Dr. Ashigbe further expressed concern that many influential people have remained silent on illegal mining because of partisan or personal interests, despite understanding the damage it is causing. He stressed that Ghana cannot continue sacrificing its environment for short-term political gains and called for a united national effort to protect the country's natural resources. So this is from the convener of the Media Coalition Against Illegal Mining, Dr. Ken Ashigbe. And he warns that Galamsey cannot come to an end if we don't put a stop to political interference. Whereas you know that this person is actually involved in illegal mining, but rather because the person is affiliated to a particular political party, you rather protect that individual rather than bringing that person out to be prosecuted. So he's warning government that if we fail or if we do not end political interference, there's no way we are going to fight Galamsey. Ms. Regina, your thought on this? Do you think? Oh, sorry. Proceed.
Do I think?
Yeah. Do you think that political interference is actually the biggest obstacle in the fight against Galamsey?
So, political interference. First off, the question we need to be asking ourselves is, when it comes to this Chamfines excavator, and in fact, most of these people even use guns in the operation of Galamsey.
Yeah, they are armed.
They are armed. We need to ask ourselves, where do they get the resources from? Betna Hanka say politician be asimesiwe and air fuole or encouraging Galamsey. But sometimes as rational human beings, you need to think, where are these normal individuals getting the money? If truly they have that enough money, do you think they would be involved in Galamsey? If they had your friend is saying, how would I put, if they, because excavator is huge sums of money.
Of course.
So if they had that money choked somewhere, would they be involved in Galamsey in the first place? They will not, because they are already dusted. So this should tell us that there are some big financiers behind the scenes who are helping these people. They don't just use one excavator. Some people use like 2, 3, and they have other necessary equipment that they use to make sure that, oh, after getting there, this is the process you need to go through. Some also use vans to operate in this illegal mining of a thing. So I'm saying that these Galamseyers are not even, in fact, they shouldn't even be the targets. The target should be the people behind the scenes. When it comes to your friend is cocaine, someone asked the question just yesterday. I saw it. He was like, say, yechi omo kita wina. They bring their faces. So what happened? Have you seen a picture of someone being arrested for having cocaine before? It is hard. It's, in fact, hardly will you see that. So the person was like, so it means that there are these big people behind the scenes who no one knows, because cocaine is very expensive, very, very, very expensive. Very expensive. In fact, millions of cedis. Oh, it's true. Cocaine is expensive.
Do you purchase some? The way you are exaggerating about the fact that it's very, very expensive.
No,
you are suspect.
But honestly, cocaine is very expensive. We import the and to baby. So all what we are saying is they should target the people financing it, supporting this business. They should target those people and stop targeting the small ones.
The root cause.
Exactly, because if you target the root cause, there's no way the small ones on the surface will grow again. They will not grow again because no one is supporting their business again. When it's cheddar, during last year last 2 years, during his campaign things, he went to one village and he boldly stood there and said, most of the politicians are the ones who are involved in this Galamsey issue. Most of them.
But did he lie?
He didn't lie. It is true. Because me know yekonye sika wan hi akoto ye friend is Chamfine. Yekonye sika wan hi akoto ye friend is excavator. Because we are importing those things into the country. So Galamsey is becoming a threat, and in fact it is already a threat to the nation. And I don't know why they are so relaxed about this Galamsey issue. So a point where just recently some Galamseyers threatened a military man. She said, who knew many so? Because military man there, the moment you see him in a satire, then you start panicking. But these people went as far as even touching the gun of a military man. First off, that alone is an offense, to touch a gun of a military man. and not chain and no boat to no coon. But we will not understand it and come out and be lambasting this militiamen that they should stop killing our people, blah blah blah. But it is an offense. So better still, they should start killing them. They should deploy all the militiamen into this dangerous zones because there's no war going on. They don't go anywhere. And young women are some go in some of these war countries. So then once remaining here should do their job. If you use Ghana Police Service ENFA, if you use Blue Water Guard ENFA, if you use NIMOS ENFA, military is there. Use them.
Ms. Devi, so is the government or our successive government saying that they don't know that their people are involved, or they've just turned a blind eye on this? Not even an allegation for them to even take a step and investigate that person that they claim or they said is alleged to have been involved in Galamsey. Because we've heard stories, we've heard rumors of political leaders and political individuals involved in Galamsey, but at the end of the day, we don't even see any development on that particular case any longer.
Well, that is what they are portraying out there, and I feel like the government is not putting it in much effort, just as we all expected him to do. Because if the government is saying that he doesn't know any of his political members are involved in Galamsey, I will not agree with him, because there have been instances where we have had people complaining, we've had people pointing fingers to top officials in this current administration, allegedly claiming they are involved in Galamsey. We also saw an instance where a DC was being picked because he was involved in Galamsey.
I think we had the likes of Collins Dowda also
involved, and then I think Yamin Adam also involved in Galamsey. But as it stands now, allegedly, as it stands now, we don't know how far that issue has gotten to, and we don't know whether these people are still standing trial or they are done with the issue. You see, when it comes to Galamsey, the conversation is dimmed. We don't fuel in much energy as we are supposed to, and then the people who are supposed to voice on this particular issue are also quiet. And that is because I believe they are being tipped to tame this kind of info. See, I can boldly tell you that the media is trying their possible best to keep hitting on illegal mining, and that is exactly what we are doing here. We keep talking about illegal mining, and if you ask me, sincerely speaking, I am tired. When it has to do with Galamsey, I am tired. Yeah, can, and we are not the only media station. There are a lot of media stations, 10 and 9 out of 1. Yes, it's 10, right? So let me just say 99.9.
Okay.
If you listen to the morning show across all media stations, 10% of whatever they discuss is in regards to Galamsey, and still it is ongoing. It's as if the rights authorities that are supposed to take steps they are sleeping. And you see, we cannot afford the distractions of our forests based on politics. We cannot afford it. And we cannot also claim we are fighting Galamsey when the people feeling this Galamsey are walking about freely. Just as Ms. Regina said, you cannot be deceiving yourself going on grounds to arrest the people in the pit. They are not the one fueling this Galamsey. They are just doing the work. It's just like you and I sitting down here. We're being employed. We're employed by our employer. We are the employees, and we are working here. So if there is an issue right now in the office, you cannot come and take me because I'm not the owner of the company. You have to first go to the owner of the company, question the owner. If there is a need or there is an instance where I am supposed to come in and then voice out what I've seen, that is if I was there when that issue occurred, then that is when I will be called. But you cannot just come in and then stay forward, Obama, so I'm not the owner. So that is it. It's the same thing as Galamsey. We have people that are backing this Galamseyers. these galamseyers are bold because they know that they have big men somewhere that are protecting them. So till we arrest those big men, we are just deceiving ourselves. We are not fighting galamsey. And you see, yesterday I was telling you that all these numbers that we are hearing that they've reclaimed, is it true that those lands have been truly reclaimed, or it is only on paper? Because we kept hearing that they've arrested this number. I think somewhere last month, the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources brought out a survey on the number of people they've arrested, and I was surprised.
Yeah, I think
Hey!
I think even this week during the government accountability series, the Lands Minister also brought out some figures. I think 280. I stand to be corrected that these people have been arrested for engaging in illegal mining. I was like, okay.
Oh, sincerely speaking, like I was surprised. I kept asking myself, I was like, is it in this country that these people were arrested, or it was somewhere? Are they trying to say that just to sweeten our ears and portray themselves in a way that will make us think that they are truly working? See, I believe that to every challenge there is a solution.
Of course, there's always a way out.
There is always a way out, and this is it. If you identify a challenge and you bring out a solution, you bring out the first solution, you keep bringing out the same solution, and you realize that at the end, as a sensible human, what do? You change the approach. You change it. But if you don't change it and then we keep using the same method, we are getting nowhere.
We are getting nowhere. If we keep using the same method, we are not going anywhere. Let's move on to our last news item. TikToker Camila Al-Hassan jailed 1 year for false claims about Mahama. TikToker Camila Al-Hassan has been sentenced to 1 year in prison by the Accra Circuit Court after pleading guilty to offensive conduct and the publication of false news. The sentence follows video she posted on social media in which it forcefully claimed, without evidence, that President John Dramani Mahama buried 32 cows as part of rituals to win the 2024 general elections. Her lawyer, Kojo Jemfi Bonsu, said the court dismissed the charge of electronic abuse, ruling that it did not have the legal authority to determine that offense. However, the courts found her guilty of offensive conduct and sentenced her to 12 months in prison. The defense asked the court to impose a lighter sentence, but the judge ruled that the increasing spread of false information, especially on social media, required a punishment that would serve as a deterrent to others. The case followed her arrest by the Ghana Police Service after the video circulated widely online. Before sentencing, the court had already ordered a pregnancy test during an earlier hearing. It's funny, but it's sad and it's serious because someone may say that, oh, everybody is saying it, everybody is saying they are granting them bail, but only you went to say it and you are being jailed. But is 12 months enough punishment to serve as a deterrent to others, Miss Debbie?
For me, it's okay.
12 months.
That is 1 year.
Yeah, because listening from her lawyer, it stated that she was supposed to be charged with 3 years in jail, but they pleaded, and then the judge said that if we allow you to go scot-free, people are going to continue with this attitude and they are going to take the law for granted. So we are going to give you 1 year. I was thinking that if it is 3 years,
1.5 or
exactly
2 years.
Yeah, I say how many years, 10 years, but 12 months.
The 1 year is still okay. It's
okay.
better than none.
Yeah,
it's better than none. You see, we are all not from the same background and we are all not from the same home. This issue is similar to Obiakobo Ashawo Nyimda. You go to try your first time and then you get pregnant. So it should tell you that the fact that someone does it doesn't mean that when you do it you go scot-free. Everybody might be stealing, but the day you try, they will catch you, and then you might be sentenced with hard labor. So this is it. you don't just sit online and speak. What she's saying, they've sentenced her because she has no evidence.
Yes.
You said the president has killed 32 cows
to win the 2024 general election.
How true is that? How true is that? Oh, okay. Because some people did it, and then we saw the vice president going to back them, giving them a pack of jollof to eat, and also a fat sum of money to start something for themselves.
Sure.
So today, when anybody wakes up, I'm the daughter of so and so a politician. I'm the son of so and so politician, and so I can just wake up and then start spilling out infos that do not carry weight. I'll start spilling out issues that are not backed with evidence. And I feel like because I've named myself that I'm the daughter of this politician, I'm the daughter of that politician, and so when I'm being caught by the law, they'll come for me. I saw a video where even the former president, Nana Akufo-Addo, was interviewed, and then the interviewer asked him, people kept saying that you are infringing their freedom of speech. And then he made a profound statement.
Yeah.
He told them that if you go on air to speak about things that do not exist, you don't expect the government to come back in you.
Yeah, and in one of his interviews, he mentioned that he doesn't work at a security agency.
Yes, he said it.
So the security personnel are doing their job.
They are totally doing their job. So you know that this is wrong, and you go ahead to do it, thinking that because Asimesi has done it, and then he was being covered by a group of politicians or a certain politician, and so you also do same. No, I saw the lady. I saw the video when she was talking blah 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 that President Muhammad did that, President Muhammad did this, they did that, the NDC did that to win power. And so the first thing I asked myself is, don't you learn? It is termed that experience is the best teacher, but trust me, not all experiences that you go through makes you a best teacher. Sometimes it breaks you down, and you cannot even pick up the pieces again. So you don't wait to experience that trauma, and then you become a motivational speaker to advise people. Sometimes you learn from the experiences of others. You don't wait to walk through the fire. No. And that is why this term experience is the best teacher. For me, it is not a best teacher for me, because you can still learn from others' experiences to better your life. But you see, in this case, we do not do it. And we feel like this kind of cheap talks give us the views. It gives us the comments. That is what people like. They like it because they know that you are fully and they will help you full. So now that you are jailed, when you are back, you will learn common sense.
You will learn. Ms. Regina, briefly, I hear people say that should someone be jailed because the person insulted the president, should that land you in jail?
It should land you in jail and more. When it comes to Ghana as a country is very lenient with the people. When you go to other countries, you even fear to even talk about your president in a bad light.
Yeah.
But I say Ghana, no. To me, excuse me to say, will be 3 cities band into sorry, Anna. Kwasiabie di atem. Then I say excuse me to say no. Now will be a di atem. Looking at what this young, in fact, she's not young. She's a woman. She's I think in her middle age. Looking at what she did, it was bad. It was honestly bad. She painted President John Dramani Mahama as a ritualist, because killing cows and burying it dear. And that's why a ritualist.
That's defamatory.
Yes, a kaka crank or beka nipa. I'm saying me a shot no person can nipa na eba fast and a cow. So I think it's good that she has been used as a deterrent, but they'll come out again.
Yo,
people will still come out. But Omiaba, she should get ready.
Yeah, I think for this one, the NPP couldn't go and defend it because we're also fighting for Miracles Abuaje. Yes.
Say yeah, now you support.
Yeah, exactly. But this one, you could see that they didn't come out for her at all. This should actually serve as a deterrent. That for the fact that you have a mobile phone and you have data doesn't mean that you should say anything at all. Freedom of expression, but is your freedom assured after you have expressed yourself? Thank you so much for joining us on the News Review. Up next, we have Today in History with Miss Regina Bliss.
Bringing you today in history on this day 1936, Spanish Civil War breaks out when a coalition of conservative military generals, most notably Francisco Franco, launched a military uprising against the democratically elected Second Spanish Republic. The failed coup plunged the deeply divided nation into a brutal 3-year conflict. Moving on, Malaysia Airlines Flight 17 shut down over Russian-controlled area of Ukraine. Halfway through a flight from Amsterdam to Malaysia, a passenger plane was shot down in eastern Ukraine, near the war-torn border with Russia. All 298 people on board, most of whom were citizens of the Netherlands, died in the explosion. It was the second Malaysian air flight to disappear in 2014 after Flight 370 crashed over the Indian Ocean on March 8th. To some few global observances, today is World Day for International Justice. To mark the anniversary of the adoption of the Rome Statute in 1998, which established the International Criminal Court, it serves to promote global accountability, support victims of severe crimes, and advocate for human rights. We also have World Emoji Day, to recognize the cultural impact of emojis and their vital role in enhancing digital communication. While text messages can sometimes be misinterpreted, emojis add necessary tone, personality, and human emotion to our online conversations because they transcend language barriers. These tiny symbols have become a universal shorthand used by billions of people worldwide. Lastly, National Tattoo Day. It is a day dedicated to honoring the history, artistry, and personal stories behind body art. Tattoo enthusiasts and artists often celebrate by sharing their ink, supporting local studios, and participating in special promotions or charity events. And that's all for today on Today in History and some global observances, live on Ghana Talks Breakfast Show.
Thank you so much, Miss Regina Bless. Up next, we have Debbie's Grill.
Welcome to Debbie's Grill, where we talk about issues that matter to the state, void of politics, fear, or favor. The Registrar of the Medical and Dental Council, Dr. Divine Bayubala, has disclosed that the council is currently investigating 31 disciplinary cases involving 46 medical practitioners, with nearly 2/3 of the complaints relating to allegations of medical negligence. He made the disclosure when members of Parliament Health Committee paid the working visit to the council to acquaint themselves with its regulatory and disciplinary work. According to Dr. Divine, data from the council shows that 64% of the cases before its disciplinary committee involves accusation of substandard and negligence medical practice. Currently, at the disciplinary level, we have a total of 31 cases involving 46 practitioners. In the court, we have 2 cases at the High Court, 2 cases at the Circuit Court. We attended court 4 times during the second quarter, he stated. Providing an overview of the council's disciplinary activities, he said the council had received 35 new complaints in the first quarter of the year and 5 additional cases in the second quarter, During the period, 12 cases were considered, 2 were referred to disciplinary committee, and 5 were concluded. He also disclosed that the council is conducting an undercover investigation into one case, but declined to provide details because investigations are still ongoing. Beyond medical negligence, the registrar said the council also deals with practitioners convicted of criminal offences, explaining that such convictions could result in practitioner being struck off the medical register if they bring the profession into disrepute. You may commit a crime completely outside your profession work, but once there is a proof of conviction, the committee has to determine whether it is honorable for such a person to remain a member of the profession and what that does to the reputation of the profession. He noted that practitioners convicted of serious offences, including second-degree felonies such as murder, are likely or unlikely to be allowed to continue practicing after serving their sentences. So the Medical and Dental Council, investigating 31 disciplinary cases, revealed that 64 related cases at the hospital that sometimes led to death and other complications on the side of the patient is as a result of the negligence of some doctors. And you see, when I came across this, I wasn't surprised at all, because personally I believed that 99.9 cases of patients dying of health complications on the side of the patient is as a result of the negligence of some of these doctors and nurses. I'm saying this because one nearly happened to my dad. My dad was admitted to the hospital, and the injection that was supposed to be given to him, they nearly changed it. And it is only God that knows what would have happened. So imagine someone was sick, or for somebody is being diagnosed of, say, diabetes or hepatitis. Per the illness, you are being prescribed a drug. But if you happen to meet one nurse that is not right upstairs, they might prescribe a medicine that does not even relate to that illness, and they'll end up killing you, or you will end up contracting into your blood another illness. So when you go off later, you go to the hospital, there are two things involved. It's either you are being given the right prescription, or you end up coming home with another illness. And so I wasn't surprised. Now recently I went to the pharmacy for medication. Then when I went there, the pharmacist that was supposed to attend to me, she was supposed to conduct on me a test and then find out what is wrong with me before she, even though I'm not into health medical stuff, but then at least if you go to the hospital or you go to the pharmacy for checkup, or for for checkup, they don't just give you a medicine. They don't just prescribe medications to you. Sometimes they have to take your blood sample and then conduct a test and then find out what is wrong with you. That is because we have illness that have similar symptoms. Illness like malaria and typhoid, they have similar signs and symptoms. So if you are not careful, you might be sick of typhoid, but you will think it is malaria, and then say you go to the pharmacy and then you buy malaria drug, but it is not malaria. It might be malaria, but you end up taking typhoid drugs, which is not supposed to be so. The most funny thing is that the lady looked at me and she said, "We don't have test kits." And I was like, okay, if that is the case, then let me go and come. She said, no, with what you've said, this I know we have professional doctors or nurses who can just give you medicines and tell you that, oh, but what you've said, this is what is wrong with you, so you take these drugs, and sometimes it works out, but not in all cases. She said I shouldn't go, so but what I've described, then she gave me some some medications that I should go and take, that when I take the medications and it's okay, I should come back, and it's okay, and I was like, okay. So lucky for me, I have a health I have friends who are into health and all that. So I called one and I was like, this is what happened. And he was like, no, it is wrong. So I should go back. Is it that I go back and I send the medications back and they refund my money to me and then move into a nurse pharmacy or maybe go to the hospital for a medical checkup? Because you might say what you feel, but that might not be what is wrong with you. So you see, all these deaths that we've been recording in the hospitals and all that, 99.9% of those deaths are not related to the illness, but they are related to the negligence of some nurses. You go to the hospital and you see a nurse on their phone. They don't even care. How can you have a full concentration on your patient when you have divided attention? You are treating a patient and you are still on your phone. So in a way, your attention is divided. And we know that when it has to do with the health, for me, you live once. You live once. If there is a pinch of mistake that is being done as the result of the negligence of the nurse or the doctor, you cannot come back. And that case will be a foolish case. A foolish case because your family might not be there when that happened. You are dead. You cannot even explain what happened. So it becomes a foolish case, and they'll bury you foolishly, and then that ends your life. And so for me, I think before we recruit these nurses, we should check them out. Yes, they are humans. They might be going through a lot of stuff and all that. And so when they come to the hospital, maybe a lot is already going through their mind. And some of these patients are even notorious. And so sometimes they make the work difficult for the nurses and the doctors. We understand. But in all cases, or in 90 cases, it is as a result of the negligence of this health practitioners. And this is clearly stated that most of the cases is as a result of this. Example is the no bed syndrome, where a patient will be sent to the hospital because there are no beds. Dr. Simeon Shaw, the nurse said, I can't conduct any test on you, I can't do anything for you because there are no beds. You go to hospital, and then the way sometimes the health practitioners, they even communicate to you, they end up boosting the illness in you rather than taming it down. So we are begging. This is a very sensitive profession. And that is why I always say that if you don't have the passion to work, if you don't have the passion to cure people, please don't venture into the health sector. Just take a critical look at yourself. Examine yourself. You will find something. You will find a unique something in you that you know that you can venture into other professions as well. We have a lot of health practitioners that are not there because they have passion to be nurses or they have passion to be doctors. But because of some one issues or another, some people even go to the health system or health sector and enroll in there because of the uniform. Some people go there because of peer influence. My colleague is doing it, so I also do it. Some people are there because their parents said there are no nurses in the family, there are no doctors in the family, at least I need one nurse in the family, so go and pursue nurse. So they push you into pursuing something that you do not want to do. And so you end up killing people. So we are begging you, if you don't have the passion, please look for something that interests you and pursue that. Don't go running after professions. At the end of the day, you end up killing people that are breadwinners for their family. So this is something that needs to be taken seriously. And I can tell you that a lot of these nurses are also going through mental staffs. So please, before we recruit these people, let's do all these checks, because we are dealing with humans. Thank you for making time with me on the biscuit.
Thank you so much for making time with us on the first segment of the Ghana Talks Breakfast Show. We hope that you had an incredible time right here on the News Review. Thank you so much for joining us. At this juncture, I'll be going for the news shortly, and right after that, we'll be back. Please stick and stay with us.
Are you ready to amplify your business or brand's reach and make a meaningful impact in Ghana and beyond? Partner with Ghana Talks Radio today to connect with a diverse audience across Ghana and beyond. Elevate your brand through on-air promotions and social media. Boost your brand during prime time. With Ghana Talks Radio, you can extend your reach across digital platforms. Ghana Talks Radio is not just a station, it is a community hub where your brand becomes part of the conversation. Join us in fostering connections, celebrating culture, and making a lasting impression. For customized sponsorship packages and enquiries, email contact@GhanaTalksRadio.com or call +233 202 544614. Ghana Talks Radio, giving the youth a voice.
We bring you local news, business news, international, sports, and entertainment news right here on GTR.
Hello, good morning, and welcome to the morning news update on Ghana Talks Radio. Coming up this morning, the Vice President has urged churches to step up and help address unmet societal needs. In Parliament, majority defended a closed-door briefing with the Bank of Ghana, while the minority has rejected the tribunal bills and cautioned against what it calls populist justice. Former Member of Parliament Isaac Boama is also urging the New Patriotic Party to put collective interest above functionalism. At Domain Market, the Queen Mother called on government to sustain the national cleanup exercise beyond 2 days. On the economy, oil marketing companies have started increasing fuel prices, with Star Oil selling at 13.67 and Goyo 13.88 Ghana cedis. Stay tuned for full details on these stories and more right after this. Vice President Professor Nana Jane Opoku Agyeman has called on churches to initiate projects that addresses unmet societal needs. She made the call at the Accra Ridge Church 90th Anniversary Lecture Second, held in Accra over the weekend. While the government has a central role in development, faith-based organizations are uniquely positioned to identify and fill gaps in education, poverty reduction, and social welfare. The Vice President urged the congregants to emulate that example by moving beyond beyond the pulpit into practical community interventions. 90th anniversary lecture second form part of activities marking 9 decades of ministry, outreach and service by Accra Ridge Church.
Before every new project, and I know that as churches, Methodists, we are also there. We are always building projects. Perhaps the church should ask not only, can we build this? Can we afford this? But the church should also ask another question. Does this meet a need that neither the government nor the market can adequately meet? And this brings me to my thoughts when we were receiving the exciting information about the participation of private sector in tertiary education. I asked myself those questions. If the state that holds the public purse is finding it so difficult to set up private universities, how much easier is this going to be for the churches? Where will they begin? Are they going to begin by training staff? How long will it take to train them? Why can't the existing universities admit more? What were the outstanding issues? Was it the laboratories? Was it the language laboratories, the science laboratories, subject-specific ones, the computer laboratories, the research labs? What was it that was lacking? What was the gap that somebody could have filled? What were the needs of the state in these institutions? I wondered, assuming the Christian Council came together to establish one university with branches everywhere, and that university focusing on the gap that government wasn't filling. Should it build hostels, lecture theaters, discussion rooms? What were the gaps? Should it expand laboratories or build new ones? The rest, they say, is history. We like the new universities.
The majority leader in Parliament, Mahama Yariga, has defended the House decision to receive the governor of the Bank of Ghana behind closed doors, describing it as standard parliamentary practice. Speaking to the media in camera sessions allows for frank discussions on sensitive matters of national interest. The decision was not intended to hide information from the public, but to enable members of parliament ask detailed and technical questions freely.
That is what the rules say. Many of you have been covering this house for so many years, and you all know that apart from the ministers, all the other independent constitutional bodies that come, they come and appear before the committee of the whole. And you all cover this house, and you know that when the administrator of common fund comes, have we allowed you to ever cover it? I'm asking you journalists, do you cover the common fund administrator? Do you cover the NHRA boss? All those, and even most of the time, unless we meet and decide, when the electoral commissioner comes here, you don't cover the electoral commissioner. So the central bank governor came to answer questions posed by Kojo Opon Nkrumah, and we said that let's do what we do for all other independent constitutional bodies, which is let us sit without the media, because that's what we do for everybody. And they said, no. The media must be in. We said no. Our practice has always been that for these independent constitutional bodies, we don't hear them at plenary, and we don't do it before the cameras. And they said we had set a precedent by inviting the media to participate. The last time we invited the governor to answer questions regarding the cost of the office building of the Bank of Ghana. And so because we had set that precedent, at all times we must allow the media in. Now said, it is up to the committee to decide, because if you read our standard orders, it says in order 266 that meetings of committees, and the committee of the whole is also a meeting of the committee. So it says that proceedings of a committee shall be held in public except otherwise determined by the committee. So I asked them to convince the entire committee to want to sit in public. But if you don't convince the entire committee to agree to sit in public, you cannot force the committee to sit in public. And they walked away.
The minority in Parliament has kicked against aspects of the new tribunal bill, describing it as a recipe of